Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day. And today, we're going to be talking about Game 5 of the NBA Finals because the Boston Celtics are NBA champions. The Boston Celtics win their first NBA championship in 16 years. 16 years ago today, the Boston Celtics beat the Los Angeles Lakers in 2008 to win an NBA championship. 16 years later, they take down the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games. And it is all over. The Boston Celtics are crowned NBA champions. Man, I thought this was the year we're going to finally get a Game 7. Every NBA Finals, I wish that we see a 7-game series, but I never get that. We can never... I know there's some... outside of Celtics and Mavericks fans, what other basketball fan that's not a Celtics or a Mavericks fan doesn't want to see a 7-game NBA Finals outside of Celtics and Mavericks fans, right? So, I said it last. I didn't really think it was going to be, but I said last year, it's going to be a 7-game series. I really thought the Celtics Warriors series a couple years ago was going to be a 7-game series. Honestly, I don't remember what I thought, but that Bucks Suns series should have been a 7-game series. But there has not been a 7-game NBA Finals series since that Cavaliers Golden State Warriors Game 7 when the Cavaliers came back from 3-1. That was the 2015-16 season. It is the 2023-24 season. I guess we can just pray for next year, right? But the Boston Celtics are crowned champions for the first time in 16 years ago. The last time the Boston Celtics won a championship, I wasn't even 1 yet. I was going to be 1 year old in a couple weeks back then. So... yeah, that shows how long ago the Boston Celtics won an NBA championship. And the Dallas Mavericks haven't... what was it, 2011 the last time the Dallas Mavericks have won a championship? So just a couple years after the Celtics won a championship. But Dallas, even though they didn't play that great in this series, had a couple games where they just got destroyed. Mainly game 1 in this game tonight. Look at the other losses they had in this series, Game 2 and Game 4. Those games were some close games, but this was just a tough series for them. But with the Celtics defense, the defense that they play, it's hard to beat them. It really is. This Boston Celtics team is so good. This is the first Celtics team since the 2016-17 Golden State Warriors not to have to play a Game 6 or a Game 7. At any point of this NBA playoffs did Boston have to play a Game 6 or Game 7. The first round against Miami, 5-game series. Second round against Cleveland, 5-game series. Eastern Conference Finals against Indiana, a sweep. And then NBA Finals against Dallas, 5-game series. You look at some great teams. The Denver Nuggets last year had to play 2 Game 6s against Miami and against in the NBA Finals, and then also they had to play a Game 6 against Phoenix. Some great teams have had to play a Game 6 or a Game 7 for that matter. But the Boston Celtics are the first team since the 2016-17 Golden State Warriors not to have to play a Game 6. But they are great defensively, and that is very hard offensively to deal with. Dallas shot terrible from 3. They just kept rushing threes, forcing threes mainly. Shot 11 for 37 from 3 in this game. And the one thing I want to go over, Jaylen Brown wins NBA Finals MVP. I don't agree with that. Jaylen Brown was terrific in this series. He finishes averaging 21, 5.5 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game. Jaylen Brown was terrific in this series, but Jason Tatum, in my opinion, was better. Both guys were great, and it's a discussion that I feel like it's very close. But Jason Tatum averaged over 22 points per game in this series, which is a little bit more than Jaylen Brown. He also averaged almost 9 rebounds per game than Jaylen Brown, which is more than half, almost half of what, almost twice as much as what Jaylen Brown had. He also averaged over 7 assists per game. He had multiple games where he had double-digit assists per game, including, I believe, he had a triple-double in this series. He had 2 games with 30-plus points in this series. Tonight in this game he had 31 points, and then it was Game 3, he had 31 points, I believe. It was either 30 or 31 he had. Jaylen Brown only had one 30-point performance in this series, while Jason Tatum had two. The only reason I could see Jaylen Brown getting the Finals MVP award over Jason Tatum, the only reason I could come up with is the fact that Jaylen Brown's played some elite defense in this series. That is literally the only reason. He had 2 steals tonight. He was getting a lot of steals and blocks in the series. That's the only reason I could think of is the reason why Jaylen Brown is getting this Finals MVP award over Jason Tatum is the impact he made defensively in this series. And maybe that is enough to overcome Jason Tatum. But Jason Tatum was great facilitating offense in this series. He had 12 assists tonight. He had 11 assists in Game 2. And a lot of Jaylen Brown's buckets, I mean, I wouldn't say half of them, but a lot of majority of Jaylen Brown's buckets, and a lot of Jaylen Brown's buckets in this game tonight came from Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum was running this offense, and he was doing a great job at it. In this game, nearly another triple-double for Jason Tatum. 31 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. Not the best shooting, 1 for 7 from 3, which wasn't great. And he shot 11 for 24, but at the same time, Jaylen Brown wasn't any better. Jaylen Brown shot 7 for 23, which is worse. 2 for 9 from 3, which is kind of the same as Jason Tatum. Yes, he made 1 more than Jason Tatum did, but he shot 2 more. So, I mean, Jaylen Brown had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists in this game, 2 steals, while Tatum had 31 points, 2 steals, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, 31 points for Tatum, 8 for 8 at the free throw line. Did shoot 1 for 7 from 3 and 11 for 24 from the floor, which is almost 50%. But the 11 for 24 is not bad at all. The 1 for 7 from 3 is. But at the same time, I mean, Jaylen Brown is shooting poor from the floor as well at 7 for 23 and 2 for 9. He shot really bad in this game. But look, both players deserve that Finals MVP award. And maybe Tatum overcomes that award over Jason Tatum just because of the defensive impact he made in this series. But we're just looking offensively, rebounding, and the impact that he made, not only just scoring the basketball. This is not okay, you score. Whoever scores the most points gets the award. He was bringing in a lot of points through facilitating the offense with assists and just other big plays offensively. A lot of points were scored off in the earlier games of this series. Double teams that were brought to Jason Tatum, and then he'd make a pass to someone, and then they'd swing it out to someone else for a bucket. So generating other buckets. So Jason Tatum was great in this series. So was Jaylen Brown. It's not like Jaylen Brown was terrible in this series because Jaylen Brown was great in this series outside of his Game 4 performance. Both guys were great in this series, but I think if someone deserved it more, I think it would be Jason Tatum. But both guys deserved that award. And yeah, it's just my opinion, but I feel like if someone deserved it more, it's Jason Tatum. All right, let's go to the scoring in this game. Jason Tatum had 31 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, 9 points for Al Horford, 9 rebounds. I mean, this guy deserves it. He's 30, almost 40 years old. I mean, just tonight, I don't know how I just figured this out. He's from the Dominican Republic. I mean, I heard his accent. I didn't even know that. I mean, I've heard him talk before, but heard his accent so clearly, and I looked it up, and he's from the Dominican Republic, which was crazy to me. But Al Horford is a longtime veteran. He's been playing for 17 seasons. He deserves this NBA Finals, and I wanted to see Luka get his first ring, but I know he's going to be around for a while, and someone like Al Horford doesn't have a lot of time left in the league. I think he has 1 or 2 years left on his contract, I believe. I'm sure he's going to play that current contract out, but there's not a lot of time left for Big Al, and he definitely deserves that. I mean, these guys even said they were going out there to win for him. So, the Celtics fans love Al Horford. I love Al Horford, even though I'm not a big Celtics guy. I've always loved Al Horford since watching basketball. He is a beast. He was big for them offensive rebounding tonight. I mean, everybody on the Celtics team he had 2 offensive rebounds, but they had so many second chances in this game. Drew had 4 offensive rebounds. Derek White had 4. As a team, I mean, you compare the two teams, the Celtics had 15 offensive rebounds compared to Dallas's 7. Boston outscored or out rebound Dallas by 8 in this game, and also 8 in the offensive rebound category. But look, Dallas was just fantastic. Boston was just fantastic with the offensive boards tonight. They were fantastic with the offensive boards all series, but mainly tonight it was fantastic and created a bunch of second chance points in this game. But Dallas just couldn't rebound. 15 points for Drew Holiday, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. This is another guy who played so great throughout the series. I don't know what I thought about this when they won the championship, but when I saw them interviewing Drew Holiday and they said Drew, the first thing that came to my mind, thinking about Boston, was I started thinking about Drew Bledsoe. I thought in my head, well, Drew Bledsoe's not the best Drew in New England sports anymore. And if you do not know who Drew Bledsoe is, he's a former Patriots quarterback. But I believe Drew Bledsoe's been through enough. I mean, you would have thought that, maybe there's someone that is better than Drew Bledsoe. And we're talking about Red Sox, Celtics, and Patriots. I mean, I would think Drew Bledsoe before Drew Holiday was a thing, probably the best Drew in New England sports history. But hey, I'd probably say Drew Holiday jumped Drew Bledsoe in that category after getting a championship win, because he, just like the championship with the Milwaukee Bucks, he played a big factor in that championship with the Bucks in 2021. He did the same thing in this championship win with the Boston Celtics. Great scoring the basketball. He scored their first 6 points in this game, 15 points in total, 11 rebounds. 4 of those were offensive rebounds. He was huge with the offensive rebounds, facilitating offense, 4 assists. Had a lot more in this series. This was one of his lowest assist performances of the series, and he was just fantastic. Even had a block in this game, shot 7 for 14, which is 50%. He was a big part of this series. Had that outstanding Game 2 performance with 26 points and 11 rebounds, I believe it was. He was absolutely fantastic in this series and wins his second NBA championship. But the main thing is he was a huge part of this series for the Boston Celtics, and I don't think they do it without him, just like I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks win a championship without him. So then we get to Derek White, who shot 40% from 3 in this series, shot 4 for 8 from 3 in this game tonight with 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 assist. Boston was great defensively in this game with 9 steals and 2 blocks. 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists for Jaylen Brown. Already went over Tatum with 31, 11, and 8 with 2 steals. And then off the bench, Sam Hauser, who finished off this series after going through a huge playoff slump, was fantastic in this game. 8 points, hit a couple threes, 2 for 6, 3 for 7, had 4 rebounds as well, 1 assist. Fantastic basketball from Sam Hauser. And then Porzingis, who got to potentially, show that at the end of this series, in the Game 5 closeout, that he could still play. 5 points and 1 rebound after missing Game 3 and Game 4, but he was able to make a return even though he wasn't at his healthiest. This wasn't his healthiest basketball. Only took 4 shots, went 2 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3, 1 for 2 at the free throw line. He still went out there and put an effort. He was great in Game 1 and Game 2 before his injury, but look, Boston's even dangerous next year if they can get a healthy Porzingis back. But he even put a little bit of put his name on this closeout win. And then how about Peyton Pritchard, who I don't understand how he only played 1 minute in this ball game, which I don't understand. He's been so big for them throughout the postseason. But the huge shot he makes in this game was a half-court shot. I mean, he's perfected that in his career. It's been a big shot for him. He made a half-court buzzer beater in game 3. No, sorry, I believe Game 2, he had a half-court buzzer beater. He's hit many he's hit many half-court buzzer beaters in his career. So he's been huge with those shots. Terrific three-point shooter, and I don't even understand how he only gets 1 minute in this ball game. amazes me. But that was it for the Celtics scoring off the bench. Only a total of 16 bench points. Then for Dallas, let's get to Dallas real quick. They had 28 points from Doncic, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 for 25. He shot terrible from 3, 2 for 9. Kyrie continues to play terrible in Boston. He was terrible in the 3 games in Boston this series. Kyrie was actually really good in Game 3 and Game 4 in Dallas, but the 3 games in Boston, 15 points, 9 assists, 3 rebounds, 5 for 16, 3 for 9 from 3. 6 points for Daniel Gafford with 3 rebounds, 3 for 5. Not bad from Daniel Gafford, but he only played 11 minutes in this ball game. Derek Lively got most of the minutes at the center position. The Mavericks centers really struggled in Boston as well. Gafford and Lively. 10 points for Derek Jones Jr. with going 4 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3. Only 4 points and 6 rebounds for P.J. Washington in this game. Shot 2 for 7, 0 for 5 from 3. They need him to be better in future playoff games. Obviously, not future finals games, because he was great in the playoffs, but just was terrible in these finals. He had 3 assists, if I didn't already mention that. Then they had 14 points for Josh Green, who off the bench was fantastic in this game and in this series. Shot 5 for 8, 4 for 6 from 3. He had 4 rebounds. He was really the only guy off the bench that had an impact in this game. Derek Lively played 24 minutes, 2 points, 4 rebounds. Maxi Kleber scored 2 points in 13 minutes with 3 rebounds, 2 points for... 3 points for Jaden Hardy, and Dante Exum also scored 4 points. So that was really it for scoring in this game. Dallas had a great season. They had a great second half of the season and great postseason, but they just weren't good enough to beat this Boston Celtics team. I really don't think anybody was. I mean, honestly, I don't think there was a team in the Eastern Conference that could have, been competitive with this Celtics team out of the West. I mean, trying to think on the top of my head, if the Nuggets got the chance, maybe they would have been able. I think the Nuggets are a team. I really think that if they don't slip up against the Timberwolves, I think the Nuggets would have been able to take in this Celtics team to Game 6 or Game 7. I look at a Minnesota team, if they don't lose to Dallas, I think with their great defense that maybe they can match up well with the Celtics and not get just trounced like the Mavericks did. Those are 2 teams I think about in the West. I think the Thunder would absolutely get killed by these Celtics. I'm trying to think more teams in the Western Conference that had a great season. I think maybe if the Clippers are absolutely healthy, fully healthy throughout the entire series, maybe they can be competitive. But outside of that, look, I think these Celtics can really just absolutely kill anybody in this league. I think anybody in the Eastern Conference would have been stomped by them. And I really think outside of the Denver Nuggets and a healthy Los Angeles Clippers team, those are the only 2 teams in the Western Conference that I think would have been competitive with these Boston Celtics. But let me know your thoughts, and peace out.